Welcome back to the Dr. Millennium Podcast. I'm Dr. Millennium.
And I'm Dick Valentine.
Today we have, oh my god, quite an episode planned.
Okay, so what's the episode today?
Well, I'm sure everybody's heard of Dan Schneider, a known pedophile who works on these Nickelodeon shows.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you look at his past, I mean, he's just constantly pushing, like, weird fetishes into kids shows.
Oh,
like
complete creep.
Foot fetishes, cuckold fetishes, and he's
absolutely.
like, he's marketing this to our kids.
I know at least...
I'm hot about this right now. I don't know if you've heard of this, Pizzagate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is going to be our Pizzagate episode. We're finally going to crack the
Pizza Hut or Pizzagate?
Pizzagate.
Okay,
I know that's a pet project of yours, and we're going to bust this nut. We're going to just crack this wide open.
Okay.
Fuck. Dude, do we have the interview schedule?
I don't know. Who is this?
No, it's
come in!
It's definitely the interview.
No,
come in! Don't let him in yet. It's the interview. Did you prepare anything for the interview?
Absolutely not.
No, I was ready for the interview.
Look. We got no money for this.
400 episodes of iCarly last night to get ready for this episode. I can't do a fucking interview right now.
Look, you know what I did? I fucking jerked off the whole fucking day. I didn't have anything.
Well, I know that. Just open the door.
No.
Open the door. Just open the door. No. Let him in.
All right, fine.
Hi, I'm Dorian. Dorian Snow.
Oh, hello, Mr. Snow.
Yeah, hi. So we're looking for a new minion / tech support.
Oh, you've been working with us for a while?
Yeah. I'm pretty good at that stuff. You know?
Oh.
So we're looking to hire from within. We want to move one of our minions up.
Okay. So you want to move your position? Would you like to take it?
Yeah, I'll take it for sure.
Well,
man.
we need to conduct an interview first. It doesn't really, what kind of stuff are you into?
You're hired.
Thanks,
Listen,
man.
Welcome.
For one, it's not up to you.
Look, he's wearing a black shirt.
Yeah, with sleeves.
Yeah,
That's right.
I trust him.
You trust a man with sleeves?
Yes,
Jesus Christ.
because you can always rip them.
Yeah.
Would you rip your sleeves?
Listen, just give me the job, right, man? I just want a job,
Can
right?
Do you know
I think that's fair.
Do you know how to use the social medias?
Yeah, I got Facebook and Grindr and all that.
Okay.
Do you know how to send dick pics?
Yeah.
Can you show me?
Sure, just
All you do is send dick pics. Alright, his dick pic game needs some refining.
So, for today's episode,
Shit. Yeah, we can't bring a new person in on Pizzagate.
but we can bring in a new person for Mr. Mickey.
Uh-oh.
I know. This has been the episode.
Oh, you're sweating already.
I know. He might be outside.
So
Lord Mickey.
We've been teasing a Disney episode for a while. So let's hop into it. What do you have to say on Mickey Mouse and Disney?
I have nothing to say.
Nothing?
I think that's the greatest being in the world. I worship him 3 times a day.
Okay. Do you
blessed
face
me with
Orlando when you pray?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Well, some people face Disneyland and some people face Disney World.
I mean, depending on...
I was just wondering which genre you fall into.
Well, there's different sects.
Yeah, I know.
So I'd say Disney World. That's more...
You're the Disney World sector.
Yeah.
Mickey worship. Okay.
Yes.
It's like Vatican City.
Vatican City. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, versus the Rock.
Of course.
It's just you choose. I forget what the Rock is called. I know they just spent what was it, $2 billion on a gold-plated microphone.
Can I say something?
No.
There's no price tag that you can fucking put on anything
when
it comes to Mr. Mickey.
That's right.
Segue back into that.
Okay.
I believe Marvel just spent $2 billion on movies. Probably.
Of course.
Easily.
So, with Marvel, how do you feel about them so far? How do you feel about Mickey?
I think their movie schemes are really cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of fascinating.
In a way, how?
So I was doing some thinking and some researching, and basically, what I wanted to figure out is, what is the bare minimum number of people who were going to go see a Marvel movie just because it has the word Marvel in the title? So I looked at the weakest performing Marvel movie, which was The Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's the very first one, correct?
I think
That is the very first one in this universe.
Yeah, and they redid it with Edward Norton, but it was the new one that's not Edward Norton.
Oh yeah.
So I looked at that. That got, I think it's if it's $10 movie tickets, maybe 17.5 million people are gonna see a movie just because it says Marvel in it.
Yeah.
So more if the movie is good, or more if it caters to them in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2017, I was looking there. There's maybe 18 non-Disney movies. I say maybe 18 because there could be more of those movies that were Disney that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
That outperformed Marvel's worst movie.
Mm-hmm.
So only 18 movies out of like hundreds released.
Yeah.
Perform better than the Hulk.
Yeah.
So they have this ability.
Mm-hmm.
They can like take a movie and run it into the ground. Like if there's an anticipated movie coming up, they'll put a movie out the week before, and that kind of does two things. They don't have to compete with the movie. It's like I'm trying to remember what, like if Star Wars is coming out,
yeah,
that's not Marvel, but it's Disney. Like Jumanji, everyone's advertising that, hyping it up. They put
and
Star
it's already
Wars
a name
out.
brand because they already had like movies that came.
Well, and
before,
they probably have a bigger fan base than Marvel. Because, but they put it out, like, Star Wars came out the week before Jumanji, so all of a sudden it sucked all the energy out of that. Everybody went to see it, and, like, I don't think it's common that people see movies every single week. So it's like, oh, I'm going to go see Star Wars, and then I'm not going to go to the movies this week. I went and saw Star Wars last week. So they're sucking all the energy out of the room for everybody else, and it's all going to them.
And you're basically saying it's killing the market.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I actually agree. Some movie, some directors or whoever releases movies, I don't know, studios, they decide to push releases back just because there's a Star Wars movie coming out or a Marvel movie coming out, MCU movie coming out. So I do think it is actually killing the industry outside of Marvel. Actually, James Cameron, the Avatar guy,
yeah,
he was just like, I heard he freaked out because he was mad at all the success that Marvel was getting, and he was like, "Oh, you guys are killing the industry, and everyone only cares about Marvel films now, yada 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 yada." So I do think there is some profound effects.
You mean the Titanic guy?
Yeah, that Avatar, right? Did he do Avatar as well?
He did both.
That's how many Marvel movies came out.
Exactly. We just don't remember anymore. Avatar 2 has been postponed until Thanos gets wrecked.
So, yeah, there was definitely some effect.
The Avatar people are going to fight Thanos in Avatar 2.
And they're going to lose. Because it's Thanos.
That means Thanos.
Yeah.
But anyway, for my opinion, I think it's killing the market. But I guess my question to you is it Marvel's fault, or is it everyone else who's not competing?
No, it's Disney's fault.
I mean, Disney's. Do you think
here's the thing. So
because my thing is this, let me just say this real quick. Don't you think people should up their game? Like, if you're a big production company, right, you should be able to up your game.
So here's why that doesn't work.
Okay.
What's going to happen is, if you have a movie that's going to make any kind of money, you're going to push it away from Marvel. You don't want to go on the same weekend as Marvel. And Marvel doesn't really want to be on the same weekend as you. Like, Star Wars is going to crush Jumanji in the box office. That's the example I'm going to keep going back to because it's the one I remember offhand. But if you push it back a week, you might gain a little bit of profit back. But then that weekend that Star Wars comes out, there's shit else playing. It's literally like Star Wars and then like ant-sized. Yeah. Like, nobody's going to compete with that because everyone knows the name. They're going to go to that.
Yeah.
And then the next week when something... I don't want to say Jumanji was ambitious because that makes it sound like they tried. It was a shitty reboot, I'm sure. I didn't watch it. I'm sure it was a shitty reboot.
Yeah.
That's the other kind, like, the movies that normally would make money are still not making anything. Like, the production companies that aren't Disney aren't getting a chance. Because either they're competing the same weekend as a Disney movie or they've got the energy sucked out of them from a Disney movie. Like, it just, all the revenue goes to that. It's interesting. I don't know. I don't think it's a good or a bad thing. I just think it's a very interesting.
But I mean, it does kill the market technically.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it does.
I think part of it too. I think that it'll eventually die down. Because I don't want to spoil anything if any of you guys have not seen the movies, but
I don't see movies.
You don't see? Okay.
I just bitch about them.
That's fine. The current storyline in the MCU is going to come to an end soon, and I think people are going to be a lot less invested in the films to come after because they built this up for 10 years, and we know it's going to all end next year. So I think after 2019, we'll see the money's going to pool to other films, so they at least have a chance. That's what I think. That's my prediction.
But this is the thing. When it comes to companies, what they've been known, every big company that has went under since the beginning of the dawn of man, any business, any civilization, anything, they keep going Like, they're not going to say, oh, we're just going to leave while we're at the top of our game. No, we're going to fucking crash this bridge down. So my question is this. Let me say this real quick. Do you think they'll stop, or do you think Marvel will keep going?
They're gonna keep going.
Here's the doctor's prediction. So what I think is going to happen is they're going to run Marvel into the ground as a back burner project. Because they're still going to get... I mean, their worst movie outperforms 95% of the box office. Like, and that's consistent. That's like their worst movie ever consistently is outperforming everything.
Of course, yeah.
So they're going to keep that going because the movies are going to stay profitable for a long time. But that's going to become a back burner project, and they're going to find a new IP to take over and just roll with it. I don't know what that's going to be, but I know it's going to be. They're going to find. They already probably have it. They've already purchased it behind the scenes, and they're doing something with it. It's gonna be a new thing.
It's called Warner Brothers.
I don't know about all that, but yeah, I think it's eventually gonna phase out, but I don't think it'll be for a little while, because they do have big plans for the next phase of Marvel.
Yeah. Well, as long as it's profitable, they're going to keep running with it. But I think
it won't be as big as this.
They're going to plan something else to take over. Something else is going to be the new Marvel, and there will still be Marvel, just like there's still Star Wars running in the background. But Star Wars is kind of, I don't know, for some reason it doesn't feel like it has the same draw as the Marvel movies. So
Definitely doesn't.
That's the back burner project now. Then Marvel's going to become a back burner project. And they're going to run something else. I'm sure they have the next 5 or 6 big things already made up.
Or they can always just buy another small company and just build it up.
Airbud Cinematic Universe. I'd like to see
Probably.
that. Yeah, lots of dogs.
Yeah.
Cats.
I mean, we're going to make a trilogy out of this.
That was the big thing for a while, was adding like a dog or a cat into a movie. Like that was like the 90s.
Yeah.
Then it was big dumb robots. Then it was superheroes, and now it's superheroes, and it's going to be superheroes for a little while longer.
And then something else is going to come.
It's going to be something else.
But yeah, I think as far as the whole grand scheme of Marvel, now this is my question to you: do you think they will use any tactic possible to get what they want?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Do you want to answer first?
Yeah, I think they would use any tactic. I think Disney's a really shady organization. I don't know what they do, but
You don't want to say that kind of stuff too loud.
I might be next.
They can hear you.
They definitely can, but
Look, I'm just saying,
I respect
Mickey might be pulling up in his Cadillac.
I respect Disney. They're shady, but I'm not going to delve into it, but I know there's something
No, go ahead.
Yeah, please. Just blow them out of the water.
Listen, man, I want to stay alive, right? No, I don't know. I mean, it looks like they're trying to buy out everything. There's not going to be any competition for them eventually. I mean,
there isn't already.
There really isn't. There's
like,
no competition.
The last big thing
Studio
they have
Ghibli
that's
is
like
the only thing that's even competing with
who?
them.
Like,
Miyazaki would have to come out of retirement. It's just like anime director.
Yeah. He made it like Spirited Away,
Yeah.
Princess Mononoke. I mean, those were like huge.
And I don't think that anime fan base is as big as the like
absolutely not
superhero fan base.
No.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah, Disney's too powerful right now.
Crash movies.
It's just ridiculous.
But yeah, as far as tactics go, now let's bring up Black Panther.
Ooh, I wanted to bring up Black Panther too, but I have to be careful because I know no one can see us. But there's there's 2 very intimidating African American men in this room, and I'm a tiny Asian girl, so I have to be very careful with how I answer this. So let's throw this out here. The Marvel Cinematic Universe up until like February didn't really appeal to black people very much. And Mickey was like, hey, their money's just as good. So of course the next step was how do I bring in a group of people who don't really like superhero movies? And honestly, I think the tactic was kind of like, from like a purely advertising marketing standpoint, it was kind of brilliant. So what you have to do if you're trying to get a certain group is figure out like what appeals to this group. So they made Black Panther. I mean, it was basically like Black People the movie, but in superhero form. So it got everybody interested because if you didn't go see this movie, you were an Uncle Tom, you're an asshole. You have to go see it. I mean, I not just you guys. I have other friends who are Black. You know.
That's also a tiny Asian girl who also has Black friends.
Yeah, I mean that's not abnormal. No, but like pretty much all of my friends were like, yeah, no, I have to go see it. They've seen it multiple times. Like, why was it that good? Oh, and I actually, it's on Netflix, so I have seen part of it, most of it since then. We'll get into that later, like the actual review of the movie. But the marketing aspect of it, it was great. And the other thing is, it pulled this whole group that had been missing from Disney's revenue stream, got him invested right before Infinity War. Holy shit! Like the timing, and the thing is, it's like, oh, that's just a coincidence. Like people look at that and they just assume coincidence, but like, you're not giving Mickey enough credit. This was planned.
He's a genius. I respect him so much.
So what do you think about that?
I definitely agree. I mean, I myself am guilty of, oh man, there's finally a Black superhero that's actually cool. I definitely have to go see it. So I had a friend actually approach me and was like, "Hey Dorian, have you gone to see Black Panther?" I gave her this look of disgust, and I was just like, pointed at my skin. I'm Black, and she was like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, I definitely was guilty of that. To be fair, Black Panther is a pretty big character in Marvel, so one could argue, they introduced him to the MCU because he's Black Panther. He's actually a huge Marvel superhero, or they could argue, like the Doctor just said, that it was a marketing ploy.
No, you know what? Fuck the Doctor, man. Tell him out of his, man.
No, I think it was a combination of both. Clearly, they were going to bring him in, but what better time to bring him in?
Stop agreeing!
What better time to bring him in than right before their biggest culmination movie, and perfectly timed to be during Black People Month.
This is too much of a civilized conversation. I don't like this.
I
want a race riot to start with.
The coincidences were too much. It was too much coincidence.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just saying.
They had to have it planned. It was planned.
So let me just say this. Some would say it's a coincidence, right? Mickey would say, no, it's not. I had this
Yeah, I would say it's not.
Now, for me, I just think I don't know. I feel like they're just at that point where they just don't care. Like, even if they would have pushed this a month later or a month and a half later.
But they didn't, because they knew, oh, it's Black History Month. We've got a movie. Look, we're going to put it. We're going to
no,
put
of course.
Black director. Like,
but what I'm saying is, let me just say this. What I'm basically trying to say is, since they had it in February, it was timed and perfectly well.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, if they would have pushed it for January, March, people still would have seen it.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have. Because they're trying to get Black people to spend money on Marvel.
And Black people still would have spent money to go see Marvel.
But
because there's always, let me say this, there's always some racial tension always going on in the news media.
What?
Yes!
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't recall ever hearing about racial tension in the news media.
There is always,
I'm going to build a wall between us.
Look, I'm just saying, the wall's there. Just don't see it yet.
It's a metaphorical wall. It's a big, beautiful, metaphorical wall.
Yeah, no, but in all seriousness, though, because, there's just so much,
No, I agree, but I'm saying they chose that time on purpose.
And listen, there's nothing that I 100% agree on that. That is something that is agreed on. Okay. But even if they would have pushed it to March or January, the amount of people still would have been the same. Might have been a little bit less.
It would have been less.
Might have been a little bit, tiny bit less.
It wouldn't have had the hype around it. It wouldn't have had as much hype. They wanted to do everything they could to build up as much hype as possible because this was the thing that was going to bring that last group in.
Before Avengers.
And then the Avengers. Because the Avengers was immediately afterwards.
So what do you have to say about this?
I think it would have still been pretty big.
I think they would have been pretty big, but
mad
I think
that African American people would probably be very angry that it wasn't being released on Black History Month, but it still would have
been big.
Just about the same amount of money.
Maybe a little bit less.
If Mickey can make that extra $10 from that last guy's ticket, he's gonna do whatever it takes to make sure he gets it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
There's no reason Black Panther couldn't have been the very first Marvel movie.
Look, Mickey's outside pulling his window, man.
I know he's got the Shaggy loaded up.
But what I'm gonna say is that's Dr. Millennium right there. As
I'm
much as he's my boy, look, I have to sell you out.
Out of the three of us, they're gonna pick the Asian chick as the doctor. No shit.
I mean, yeah, of course. Well, I guess I wouldn't really want to need to point out at that point, right?
Right.
Fair enough.
Ooh, But let's get away from Marvel for a minute.
Okay.
And actually, the other thing that they did that was, I feel, conspiratorial, tactical marketing. The Solo movie. When the Solo movie looked like it was gonna flop, and everyone was saying like, "Oh, this is garbage." They have nothing to stand on. This Solo movie's terrible.
Which is the most recent Star Wars film.
I think so.
For
There
me.
might have been another one since then, or there might be another one till we release this episode.
No. The Solo was the most recent one.
Okay. Well, you're gonna say that, and then you're gonna wait 3 months to release this, and there's gonna be another one like a jackass. But as of right now, as of the time of recording, yes, that's accurate.
As of the time of recording of Eastern,
I don't know.
wherever
know.
we are right now.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Ukraine. But yeah, as of right now in Ukraine at this date, Solo is the most recent Star Wars movie. But there's all this news going out that like, oh, the director had this big clash with the writers. Oh, this movie's just going to shit. Nothing they can do about it. Oh no. All of a sudden, the conversation gets steered away from the Solo movie because one of the co-stars of the movie comes out with a new song. Anybody remember "This Is America"? Or
Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
your parody for the Namekian one, which you can find on our YouTube channel. Shameless plug. That came out like
reference code 492.
right at that time. You want to say that wasn't intentional? You want to say that the production quality wasn't such that Mickey Mouse might have had a free studio and been like, "Hey, buddy, go on in there and make some magic." All of a sudden, the conversation wasn't, "Oh man, Solo's gonna do bad." It's, "Hey, can we get Donald Glover on to the Tonight Show? I want to interview about this. Oh my god, this controversial music video." Because he shot a guy.
In the beginning, yes, correct.
And in the middle.
And in the end.
Jesus Christ, did you watch it?
He got shot multiple times.
He shot a lot of people in that video. He killed a lot of people.
He killed a lot of people.
You killed a lot of people in real life.
Yeah. No, but no seriousness. It was timed. It was timed in a way where.
Oh, are you going the coincidence route?
I'm just saying it might have been a coincidence.
I'm saying.
I think it was a coincidence, honestly. Because I actually listened to Childish Gambino, and he's been planning new music for a while now. I think he did mention something coming out around that time.
No, yeah.
So,
but
movies do take
let
a while
Dorian speak.
to produce, and he might have been like, "Oh, let me have this release date coincide with, Solo." I don't know.
Which is perfect. I'm glad you brought that up, because now my retort would be this: do you think Mickey used him, or do you think our boy Childish Gambino pimped out Mickey?
I could see that. Yes.
Oh, rub those
no, I'm
nipples.
going to say it's a combination.
Oh, rub those
because
nipples.
Mickey benefited the most. Shit.
No, we're fine. Calm down.
Did Mickey Slaughterhouse?
No, we're not. We're good. Just give it a couple more
Are you
minutes.
sure?
No, I don't know. Do you put the camera system on?
No, we don't have. Our IT guy hasn't gotten around to it yet.
Oh, well, shit, we just hired him, man.
Just sitting here.
Rehire him. Leave Dorian out of this.
Well, first order of business is to set up the goddamn cameras.
I'll get to it, all right?
No, but so what do you think about that?
No, I think Mickey was like, somebody had a sit-down meeting with Donald Glover, and they were like, "Listen, buddy, this movie's gonna suck a fat dick. We know that. The movie's not good. We need something. You gotta do something. You've got this Hannah Montana alter ego that sings the rap music. Give us a song. Give us something. Let's make it controversial. We got to get the limelight off of this shit steam of a movie and onto something else. And you're going to be it." And he was probably like, "Shit, all right. Like, why not?" It gives his, like you guys said, it gives him a boost. Everybody knows who he is now, if they didn't before.
And it benefits both parties. So, with that being said, you got to look from the opposite perspective. Like, maybe Childish Gambino
No, he didn't.
used Mickey.
He didn't.
I don't know.
He got
I don't
He
know.
got-
I think I gotta stick with my guns on that one. I don't know.
No, he
boy.
definitely won in the end because he was in a movie, made a lot of money, and he got a song that got a trillion hits on YouTube.
Mhm.
But Mickey won overall because no one remembers Solo as that shitty movie. They remember it as that movie.
Mm.
Because instead of everybody talking about how much Solo sucked, they were talking about how great Donald Glover is.
And I'm gonna go see the movie.
Yeah, and why not? I don't know. Well, oh yeah, they were talking about the Tonight Show. We had some controversial music video where he shot some guy, and it's a story about violence.
Now we can argue and disagree on whether it was one way or the other way for the both parties being used. Either it was Mickey being used or either Donald was being used. So what do you think about this?
There are a lot more elements at play here, I think. I personally did not see the movie, but I do keep up with the fan base. I follow a bunch of fan bases, Star Wars fan bases online. And there's one in particular that I follow, and they're notoriously known for being toxic. Very toxic fan base. Star Wars fan base in general is very toxic. They were shitting on the movie pretty hard. They were saying, oh, this guy doesn't look like Harrison Ford. He doesn't really seem like him. Doesn't act like him. Yada, yada, yada. I think that also had a part to play with how... I mean... No one really wanted to see the movie in the beginning, and then when the movie actually came out, it was actually pretty decent. And I saw people saying, like, oh, this actually wasn't so bad. We should actually go see this. So I don't think it was purely just Donald Glover's music video that saved the movie. I think it was like, oh, the fan base is like, oh, you know what? We might as well just see this. It's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think that definitely had a part of it, too.
Yeah. And I think the music video, though, killed the negative hype. Because the hype train was going downhill full speed. And that kind of applied the brakes a little bit.
I will say this, though. The Solo movie was doing fucking terrible the first week.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at releases for the entire Star Wars franchise, it was doing very bad.
Well, and in the future, the Solo movie will be like Marvel's Hulk. Like, it's going to be how bad is bad for a Star Wars. It's going to be the metric
ranking.
On, like, what is the worst you're going to do releasing a movie with Star Wars in the title. And it's going to be however Solo did. Because the people who went to see it because it has Star Wars in it.
Fair enough. Fair point. Yeah.